Where's my volume at? Hey, people, y'all here? Wait a minute. Lord, I ain't got no volume at all on my phone. I'll restart it. Hey, people. Well, there's a leak in that old building, and my soul's got to move. My soul has got to move. My soul has got to move. Lord, I see the children are on here. They talking spiritual talk now. They want to have the same conversations been had for the last 200-300 years that we know of, but basically 2,000 years. I don't even know where to start. How y'all doing? Hi, Prima Wanda. People still are trying to explain nature through the words that are written in the Bible. It just so happens that I did go to church today. We're going about once a month now for Communion Sunday. And the topic of conversation was Deuteronomy, right? And so the pastor was telling us about the law. The law, you people seem to pick out one or two that you like. The law was this. Ladies, each and every one of you who has had sex outside of marriage, each and every one of you, according to the thing they call God, the Bible, are supposed to be stoned to death, not reprimanded. You're to be walked out in front of your father's house, and the entire community are to pick up big rocks and hit you in the head with those rocks until you are dead, right? People kill me. They still want to go back to, oh, what the Bible say about homosexuality. What does the Bible say about sex outside of marriage? And what is a marriage, right? People still want to cherry pick and find the things that don't apply to them. So they can ascend into the heavenly places, and the others will descend into hell to burn for all eternity, right? It doesn't make any sense. I just picked up the tail end. One of y'all who likes Five Babe, y'all need to tell her she needs to stop this thing where you can't go back on the damn, you can't red ball the damn video. So you got to come right when she starts, and then you got to stay there and listen to the very end, because you can't get the conversation, because people have other things to do. People are coming back from places. People are doing their shopping. People are doing all kinds of stuff, child, and they would like to be able to hear the conversation, but they can't hear the conversation because they got to pick it up at the very end. So at the very end, I believe she was quoting. I'm not starting no trouble with her or picking on Miss Five Baby or nothing like that. But at the very end, she was quoting Romans about men trading their desire for women for desire for each other, something like that. Something that Paul said. As I keep saying, Paul is not a deity, correct? In my own life experience, guess what happens? When you go to prison, guess what happens, child? Men, heterosexual men, will change their desire for women for the desire for men. It is the nature of a male. A male needs to have sex, right? Now, most of them will say that they would never do that. That is not in their vocabulary, right? But when them people start talking about 10 years, you ain't gonna never see another titty or a culo in 10 years, child. Believe me, things happen. There's no shortage of sex in prison. And these are people who are having sex with other men, right? Most of the stories in the Bible are about people being abusive. Men raping boys is the kind of sex they're talking about. They had no knowledge of what a homosexual even was. They didn't even acknowledge that, right? In Sodom and Gomorrah, the men were willing to fuck the women and the men. It didn't make no difference to them, girl. So how did you turn it to just the sin of the males? What about the sin they were doing with the females? Surely it would be a sin to rape God's angels, whether they were male or female, right? But they pick up on that and they say that's the reason why God hates homosexual, right? As we keep talking about, the Bible is not God, correct? Trying to duplicate the morality of these people in ancient times, times before cars, times not don't even mention the technology, nothing like that, girl, right? They were still trying to design a way to wipe their ass, girl. Times before toilet paper, out in the hot ass desert, right? These are the people who you think have all knowledge. Why? Because they appear in the Bible. So why is someone over here quoting what Paul says like that's what God believes? Paul was never speaking for God. God is spirit. God has placed his creation on this planet and allowed us to live in it. So these people who are constantly criticizing nature, what is in nature, isn't nature beautiful? People and animals and trees and plants and ocean and oxygen. We got a sun, we got a moon. All these things are in creation, right? So I think it's arrogant to try to pick out something now based on some words that some dude wrote in the desert 6,000 years ago. Then they even have evidence, scientists have evidence that people were on this planet long before 6,000 years ago. How do you explain that? Oh, it ain't in no word. Whatever. So that's one conversation going on with Five Babe. She still believes that by quoting something that Paul said or Paul wrote, that qualified as being God because the Catholic people put it in the Bible. The Catholic people who were designing a Bible and calling it God, right? She accepts that anything written in the Bible is God. They call it God's word. Although in the New Testament, God said, this on the day Christ was baptized, according to the book, this is my beloved son, in whom I am well pleased. And that's it, right? So all the other things that you're getting from the Bible were all the ideas, the interpretations of men, right? So it really doesn't matter what Paul says, right? Because if T.D. Jakes is a spiritual leader today, if they put T.D. Jakes in a book, does T.D. Jakes become God? Anyway, what's the other ones? Then the other issue is this generational curses. Now, I haven't had the time because I just got back from church and I haven't had the time to go through all these videos because I'm going to lose the light in a minute here. It gets dark so early. But apparently Troy Allen was talking about this and I didn't see his video at all. But this is brought on by Rico's mother making an appearance somewhere. And then all of a sudden the conversation is generational curses. So even though they don't say this, I believe that they're saying that Rico has got the issues he has because that's where he got it from his mama. People, even as a little bitty baby, I learned that you don't disrespect people's mothers. What is this shit? And then you got Wilson over running his mouth saying, Rico mama said that. Oh, Rico mama. Oh, I didn't have those issues. I didn't. This thing, if you don't sound like a goddamn fool, you don't have respect for people, Jay Wilson. And that is your primary problem. So whoever them niggas was in that trailer park, bitch, they taught you nothing. They must have been some real pieces of work. You don't even know that you're not supposed to come on here and insult somebody's goddamn mama, right? Where was the last example we had? Who else? He was talking about somebody else's mother. He even mentioned my mother. He has no respect for anybody. Jay Wilson, I'll say it again, is a pig. Moving on past that very quickly, and we'll come back to that. I see that there's been cracks in the ceiling, and my soul has got to acknowledge that both Kimmy and Tracy, I know you might be in here, are starting to see what that monster is, right? These are only the ideas that I've gotten just by listening to my radio on the way home. This has been going on with Tracy for a while now. Well, she sees that there's a whole lot to disagree with Jay Wilson about, primarily his constant begging and justifying his begging, and then looking you right in your mouth and saying he's not begging. So apparently he was just online saying, did I flush Kimmy? Did I flush her? I don't think I flushed her. How in the hell are you going to ask somebody to give you $300 to take someone down and you don't remember if you did it or not? See, Jay Wilson thinks you're all idiots, people. How could you forget something like that? I don't know if you did or didn't, nigga. I don't care. The point is, you couldn't have done it and then forgot. Y'all looking at me crazy. What's going on, people? How y'all doing? Donald Trump bad. Hey, Jay Wilson and Donald Trump have a similar defect. They are both narcissists. So a lot of the things or the ideas, the way Donald Trump acts, even though he's supposed to be rich and Jay Wilson is piss poor, the characteristics of a narcissist, right? The characteristics are the same. The guy in New York City, Bishop, what was his name? Will, whatever it was. Anyway, they have very similar way of communicating because they're all narcissists. Jay Wilson is a clinical narcissist, right? He don't give a damn about no ideas. He don't care about nothing. If he did flush this woman to get money from somebody, there's no way you just forget it. Y'all don't believe me. I can see y'all looking at me crazy through this thing here. Hold on a minute. Let me catch up. We're going to catch up together. Come on, phone. I think I may give me a new phone. It's only a few months old, but I think I got to go with 5G. This thing is not responsive enough. Hold on a minute. Give that a minute to come on. Hi, RJ Supreme. Shush Trish. Hi, people. What's going on, Sandra Mitchell? We're here. Let's move on to something else, and then we'll come back to the Jay Wilson issue, right? Because he gives me a bad taste in my mouth. So Troy was talking about these generational curses. I believe that there are generational curses. If your great grandfather beat your great grandmother and she stayed, and then your grandmother was beat and abused by her husband and she stayed, and then your mother was beaten by her man, they were all abused women and each one of them stayed, I would say that is a generational curse. You witnessed something as a child and you've accepted it as normal on both ends. If you are a man and your grandfather, you saw your grandfather beat your grandmother and she stayed, and you saw your father beat your mother and she stayed, and now you find yourself beating your wife because you believe that it is normal, because that's all you know, I would say that was a generational curse, right? I don't know if you are, people in AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, will tell you that, well, my parents were alcoholics, and then my grandparents were alcoholics. All these things that go from generation to generation are generational curses. Now, I don't know that you have a physical addiction to alcohol because your family did, or they drank when they were pregnant or whatever, but they have certainly taught you certain behaviors, right, which you have carried from generation to generation. If your father was a drunk, yet he was the man paying the bills and he was still head of the household, you may well believe that it's okay for the male to be a drunk. Now, you want to call that a generational curse, whatever you want to call it. It could be just learned behavior. I think my phone is warmed up. Hold on a minute. Oh, look, it's showing me like my sound ain't working though. Wait a minute. God damn it. Always issues with the damn phone.
And we don't talk about drugs.
Wait a minute.
The spiritual thing has to happen, honey. Surgery on the inside.
Be quiet, Timothy. Who we want to start off with? Let's start off with we can't do 5 Babe because she won't let the you can't red ball it. You gotta just pick it up wherever she's at. I think that's really a bad idea, hun. Really. That's why that ZT monster, he started doing that shit. You can't even watch it. So why am I watching this? I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. Unless I'm sitting there in obedience at the very beginning of your thing and watch it all the way through. I'm not going to do that. Let's see if we can find something good. Because I see Miss Kimmy's been upset by this boy. Y'all know that's one of my favorites. I could read him for hours. Yeah, that's a diversion. Come on.
People saw, and they don't know me, and it really don't faze me. And it's entertainment, and it's a part of it. Now, I don't care if people call me fake pastor. I don't really care. I really don't care. Right. Because again, just because you call it like that, that don't mean it's so.
It is what you are.
It's only meaningful if it's true and if it means something to you. It means nothing to me. Again, and I'm not ministering to these people in the first place, but somebody felt ministered to, and people get a laugh when they come over here, and that's all I'm saying. So again, you all, don't worry about me. I'm fine. Let people say what they want to. It is what it is.
Let's go on until we get a nice
it's all
chunk.
Good with me. Keep on blocking them.
Come on, boy. Do you have something to say about the girl with Miss Kimmy? Hold on a minute. I think it is very fascinating to hear this idiot.
Special K, I didn't hear that. She was speaking on the size of her son P, baby. I don't know.
You never know nothing. You don't care about nothing. All you care about is I'm gonna get every dime I can get out of your ass. And if people, I'd say, oh, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's just a show. But if you give me $300, I'll flush you. If you give me $300, you give me $200, I'll flush you. So now she's only claiming that she's done this with Shush Trish. What she's saying to the people in her audience who she disrespects and think are stupid, she's saying, listen, let's make this a thing. Just like the Cash App Palooza, right? He came on criticizing Cash App Palooza when he saw people getting money from it. 2 days later, now he's the king of the Cash App Palooza, right? Anything for $1. Beware of the nigga who is only interested in $1, who will do anything for $1. When somebody tells you, I don't give a fuck about you, I don't care about you, ain't no friends on YouTube, ain't no girl, what is this YouTube shit? Basic respect, Jay Wilson, right? You're supposed to be the spiritual person here. You're the one with the credential. Yet, why don't you tell the people about what the Bible calls sin, right? And what you'll realize is damn near everything we do from the time we walk out this door, if you're going by the ancient Bible, would be considered a sin. The very clothing that we wear here in the United States of America would certainly be considered sinful. You could be stoned to death for wearing those culottes or those hot pants and those Daisy Dukes, girl. Have you seen the Middle East, how the women are all tied up? All you can see is their eyes. This is what way religion was then, child. Anyway, she gave us several stories about this athlete recently who was a mountain climber. And the woman was a prize-winning mountain climber, right? But she couldn't climb the mountain with all this stuff on, covering her entire face. So she moved, or is that called a hijab or something? And I'm not criticizing other religions, whatever, it's their business. But she took it off. And then when she got home, they had burned her house to the ground. Why? Because she had exposed herself. This is religion, people. You ain't doing no serious religious stuff over here, child. Unless people on here could all say, oh, I was a virgin until I got married and I never had sex again. Because every time you had sex, you were supposed to walk out in front of your father's house so the people in your neighborhood could stone you to death. This is what the Bible feels about sin. So I don't know why these people keep going crawling all the way back, all these thousands of years ago, and thinking that's got something to do with us, child. Hey, what is with this whole God is spirit? God is spirit just as much as he was spirit then. When you pray to God, you pray just like you pray now, child. When did you get this idea that you're supposed to go back and listen to other people's stories over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, girl, and then make that story of that person's experience with their God, their spiritual experience, you have to make that now, that's God. Why? It's in the word. What? I thought Christ was the word. The word made flesh. Isn't that what the book says? People, I don't like talking about religion because I get so excited. God is real. God is real, not the history of God. How arrogant for us to believe that now I have read an old book. That means now I know God. You don't know God because you read a book. You know God because God has touched your heart. You believed him and believed in him. And he's helped you through situations. And you realize that you are not alone. This is the spiritual stuff. People get mad. They say they spiritual, but not religious. They say they why? What is this big deal about religion? Right? You're trying to duplicate what went on. Do you even want to duplicate what went on in the 1800s? How about the 1700s? You want to go and duplicate that? You want to bypass that by thousands of years. I'm all over the place. Hi, Shakira. I'm not the devil, baby. I'm not the devil. And I don't hate our God. I don't even hate our Bible. The Bible will bring you to an understanding of the Christ, of what God has done. I don't know why ancient histories before that would even be relevant. They never applied to any of us. It was only, these laws were only for the Jews. They didn't consider you equal to them. They were the chosen people of God. Why? Because they wrote the book. If I write the book, the black people are going to be the chosen people of God. Anyway, I don't know why you have to keep going back over old stories, Bible stories. You need to be in touch with God right now. If God is telling you that you are better than other people and you're going to ascend to the heavens and they're going to hell because they suck dick, then I would suggest to you that you're not hearing the Spirit of God. God is good. I mean, he is not concerned with these little petty things that we do with our bodies here, right? God is in control of the universe. Now imagine that. What's a universe? That means every single country. He's kept it all going. God keeps the sun in the sky. He has certainly placed it where it will never leave. He put the moon there and stars, and they all have a purpose. Just like everything about us, it all has a purpose, right? I have balls because I have to produce sperm, right? I'm just saying, I have tear ducts. It's all designed, right? The dry land and the wet land. This is what God's in charge of. He is not concerned with you and your dirty little self, child. Where am I at? I'm all over the place. Oh, yeah, I want to speak more on this generational curses type deal, right? There are some things I would say are genetics. That's why when you go to the hospital, your doctors want to know your family history. They want to know the history on your mother's side and the history on your father's side, right? Because if all of your in the generations, if they've all ended up with cancer, that tells them something about your likelihood of you developing cancer. Why? Because my mama had it and my grandmama had it, and these things are genetic. I wouldn't say that they were curses. There's a curse that you have in these diseases and things. Not only just that particular disease, but any kind of disease, right? You have hypertension, your daddy had hypertension, granddaddy, all those things are, this is all my opinions, of course. All those things are not generational curses. Those things are genetics. You're predisposed to certain things, right? Certain behaviors, I believe, are curses, right? Mm-hmm. You're treating your wife the way your great granddaddy treated his wife, and then your mama's wife. I mean, your grandmother, and then your all through the generations. They've all treated the women the same way. That's a generational curse. So we have to spend more time unlearning things. When the pastor preached today on the Deuteronomy, and I know this is only one particular story, but it's very real. These things that you're supposed to be talking about, oh, it's in the law, it's in the law. But the law was you were supposed to be stoned to death if you did not remain a virgin for your entire life. Right? Why not take that part too? I'm all over the place, RJ Supreme. What y'all doing? What y'all think on these subjects? But I see Kimmy is turning on this Jay Wilson. They don't know they're turning yet, but it's all up on them, honey. Because they are realizing this person's supposed to be my friend. I thought we was friends. He done told you and told you and told you there are no friends on YouTube. When he says there are no friends on YouTube, that means that he will throw your ass under the bus whenever it suits him, right? Because you are not my friend. You ain't my friend. I tell you that again and again. Not my friend. He don't know how to have a friend, child. And I have a question. He always seems to want to speak about other people's families, right? Your respect for Rico's mother should have been automatic. I'm not going to sit up here and say disparaging things to this man's mama. What I can do is I can get my ass off of the live out of respect, right? Now, that kind of thing will get your ass fucked up, Jay Wilson, right? But see, you have no respect for Rico. You ain't got no respect for his mama. Now, you already talking about his mama. It's just like the same situation when Five Babe's mother graduated from her seminary or her schooling. How dare you come over there and criticize someone's mother's schooling? Did you actually take time and go and look up her schooling, her teachers, her background, the background of the church, girl? You don't do that kind of shit. That's somebody's mother. You're the kind of person who needs to be fucked up. I always said it. I said, Jay Wilson just needs his ass kicked. It's simple as that. You cannot talk to some people. He has never been taught respect for anybody, right? He worships money and he calls it God. His only interest in God was the ability to beg because you're in ministry. He just saw it as a cash cow, and that's how he's treated it always, right? So whether he flushed this girl or not flushed this girl, Kimmy, he certainly said he is willing to flush her for money. He'll do anything for money. And they come over here and lie to you and say, I don't need the money. I don't need the money. Well, why don't you stop asking for it since you don't need it, nigga? Oh, hi there, the official Tyrese report. Do you use your oh, no joke, child? Oh Lord. Do you love the Lord? See, Tyrese report. You didn't just go to seminary. You didn't go to seminary so you can figure out a way to get to people's money, right? That's what Jay Wilson does, right? He is a sociopath, right? He is a narcissist. He is not a very decent person. He's not a good person at all. Then he wants to brag constantly about his family. Your family were trailer trash. Remember that piece? You already talking about what Rico's mama said. Nigga, at least he got one. My family did it. My family did. My family. Girl, you ain't even seen that nigga. What was he, a truck driver? Was he doing long hauls, Jay Wilson? Because somebody has not taught you anything, girl. You're a miserable person, awful, horrible person. And I think that if a man was there to teach you something, girl, they would have taught you basic respect for other people. How the hell you gonna call yourself in ministry or in leadership when they come to leadership? I'm not your pastor. I'm not your Miss Thing. If you're gonna call yourself, if you're gonna wear the name of God, we don't expect you to be the messiest, cattiest queen on YouTube, girl. Right? And that's why people rejoice when they heard you get fired on your temporary job, claiming that you were a chaplain, right? People rejoiced at that, girl. Why? Because you don't belong there. You don't belong there. You don't belong in any kind of ministry, Jay Wilson. You are a worthless piece of shit, girl. And until you lose that house, when you lose that house, things will begin to change, nigga. I think you need to spend some time on a park bench. You got some learning to do. Mm-hmm. These black people killed. They get, because they get. I'm in a hell. I'm in a hell. They think they're some kind of above it all and all this kind of shit, right? We're black people. Most of us come from some form of poverty. If it's one generation, two generations, honey. And even the ones who didn't come from poverty, I think it started in slavery, right? I mean, where did it pick up at? Anyway, for us to be constantly putting each other down because of poverty, especially you, Jay Wilson, about poverty. I mean, I don't even know no niggas from trailers, girl. Right? You're the poorest of the poor. And yet you want to come over here running your mouth like you are you are above. You ain't above shit, girl. You are a square. You have not lived. Oh, I don't drink. I don't smoke. Girl, you're one of those idiots in the pews, girl. Don't do nothing, girl. And then you're sitting up there in that pew for 50 goddamn years, girl, pretending that you're a heterosexual boy and hiding it in the closet for 50 years, girl. So that tells us the capacity of you. You've always been a fake. You've always been a fraud, right? You lied to those people and they saw through you, Jay Wilson. When you walked in the room, I could tell you was a sissy. But in your mind, you think you have deceived somebody, girl. Anyway, thank you for that Cash App, Thais. He's mispronouncing your name over there too. He calls you Tyrese. He won't even take enough time to see what your name is. Mm-hmm. What y'all think? I fought the law, and the law, he is so proud. Oh, I ain't do nothing to go to jail. I didn't. Okay, so what exactly did you do? I mean, you're about finished, girl. It's time to retire. And what have you actually done, Jay Wilson? Right? You go all the way to Vegas. You can't even gamble, girl. You're so pulled up. You can't drink. You can't smoke. You don't hang around with those who do, girl. You don't do this. You don't do that. But you suck a mean ass dick, though. Right? You get on Grindr and get caught on YouTube over and over and over again, girl. You're a regular on the sites in your 50s. You're doing that you're doing everything else, Jay Wilson. We know you're a thief. We saw how you carried on with these people you ripped off, girl. We saw the Vegas experience. We saw the Atlanta experience. We've seen all of the scams you put on here, girl. We've seen you come over here with this Cash App Palooza bullshit, with our United States government said it's a scam. Don't do it. And then Cash App closed your ass down, right? And you came back, try to use it with a different name, and they closed you down again. And now you have the audacity, because it's Christ's birthday, to bring your ass in here trying to figure out how you can cash in on it again. It's the Christmas season. So I'm going to come up with the Cash App Palooza. I thought he told you that it was a scam. It was illegal. Then you're over there bragging about, oh, the house always wins. The house always wins. Is this a gambling casino? What do you mean the house always wins? So you were admitting that there was a scam to this last Cash App Palooza, right? You said the house always wins. That means the people in the casino, they lose, right? All you took from Vegas, since you don't gamble, is that the house always wins. You're telling the people, you're so stupid, you don't realize you're telling your marks and your tricks, girl, that there is trickeration to you having anything to do with money. Anything. You do anything for $1. Trying to stay in the house and pretend that you are middle class, and you have never been middle class, nigga. You have never have, girl. You went from that disgusting trailer to a disgusting house, right into a damn college dorm. You stayed there and bled the government, girl, for however long you could bleed them for that. You moved into an apartment, girl, and then you still continue to get student loans, Miss Thing, until you finally landed your ass at a house at 50 years old, and that house has become you. Just like these people say the Bible is God, you think that house is you. A simple little track house that anybody in Texas could afford, girl. People move out of San Francisco, they sell their, if somebody is fortunate enough to have a house in San Francisco, I've seen it over and over and over again. I've been here 32 years. They move out. You know what they do? They go to Texas and buy a house for cash. Well, there's a leak in that old building. Well, I'm glad the girls are beginning to see. See, I hope when people look at me, they will say, you know what? All I want is one word, girl. Timothy Blaine is a decent person. I think of myself as being decent. Jay Wilson is not a decent person. He keeps telling you. He keeps telling you right in your mouth, honey, I'm not decent. I ain't got no friends on here. Ain't no friend. And then all these proclamations about what everybody else is. How you gonna tell somebody they ain't got no friends? Nigga, you ain't got no friends. You never have had any, girl, because you're too money grubbing. You've never been able to apply yourself on any job, any career, make anything of yourself, right? Because you come in with the premises, I'm just here to get money. I'm just getting money. They say, well, sir, do you have any ideas that will help our company? Right? How are we going to advance you? All you hear, I'm gonna get some overtime. I'm gonna get some overtime. I'm just give me the money. And you ain't figured out nothing yet, Jay Wilson. No place where you can fit. You're too focused in on money. It is disgusting. That's why I call you trailer trash, girl. I don't call nobody else trailer trash. Have you noticed that? Out of all these people, I know I'm talking to black people. I know, honey, I came from projects. I've lived in several. As a matter of fact, I lived in when as a baby child in San Francisco. My mother and her no good husband started in the projects. Then when my mother got a divorce, we moved into the projects, right? But I don't consider myself to be project trash. I don't consider people to be trash because of where they live, right? We all have a story of poverty, girl, or disadvantage. But you, the lowest of the low, you still act like trailer trash. It's disgusting. Begging. And every time we call him out, he waits 2 days and then he begs again. Now he's signaling to his rider lives. What he's doing is he's signaling to you guys that if you want to have a show, I'm a flusher. I'll flush you for money. I don't flush, but I'll flush you for money. If y'all give me some money, y'all give me some money. So okay, so we already saw the example of this Trish girl. I haven't figured out what this thing is with this Kimmy girl situation, but she seemed pretty hot about it, Jay Wilson, right? Because you have told her, that, girl, if I didn't do it, I will do it. But I don't believe, not for a millisecond, that somebody has given you $300 to flush somebody and you don't remember. Maybe I did, maybe I don't remember. I don't think I flushed it. How would you forget something like that? Somebody who is obsessed, who worships pieces of silver. You know what your role is in the Bible, Jay Wilson? Judas. You will sell out your mama for 6 pieces of silver. That is the character. That is exactly who you are, Jay Wilson. If we had to pick each person for what character they would be in the Bible, that's where you would fit. You would be Judas, because you would be the person with no friends who would sell your soul for 6 pieces of silver and sell out the Christ, the only hope for the world, for a few coins. As a matter of fact, that's the same language. A coin. I'm gonna get a coin from it. Oh, me gold. Me gold. Who got me gold? That just came to me. It is so true. You are Judas. Maybe we can work that into your name. James Judas will suck cock. Be quiet, boy. Come on. Dinny Ding. I had to leave my baby alone on Sundays. What y'all think? All these different stories go on. So I don't know about the generational curses. I have to go back over that. But violence is something that is not in your DNA. You wouldn't be violent because it is in your genes. That is learned behavior, right? There are many things that are generational curses. If it keeps happening in your family, right? If you're still a wife beater, 5 generations later, that's a generational curse. It needs to be broken. They can be broken. By what? Faith. God can deliver you from anything, honey. Mm-hmm. Now, y'all done mixed in this sex stuff, but that's not what God's talking about when he's talking about being delivered, girl. I don't know why America got so obsessed with this goddamn sex, girl. Other people's sex life. Your nose, your whatever. Ladies, do y'all really want to be the property of somebody else? Do you want your father to pick out somebody for you to marry and then you become that person's property? I believe in the Bible. I believe in the word of God. The word of God. God says 3 sentences in the New Testament, and that changes the whole thing to the word of God. This is my son, in whom I am well pleased. This is my beloved son. And we're still just going by what somebody else wrote down years later. Handed down stories. A lot of the Bible was written by people who didn't even know the people they were talking about. So how would they have perfect conversation? How would they be able to write dialogue of conversations that happened 200 years ago? How would you do that? Oh, God took a hand and wrote down. It's foolishness. I don't mean you throw away the Bible. It's great wisdom. The way she was preaching today, I said, whoa. It's time for me to go back into the Bible. I used to go in, when I was in the pen, you ain't got nothing to do in prison. I would go over and over and over and over until I had it right. I must have read the New Testament 20 times, right? I was primarily interested in doing the New Testament, but it was a wonderful time, right? So we're not saying the Bible is wrong. I say the way we use it is wrong, right? Trying to duplicate other people's lives, other people's experiences. To me, it's just dumb. Can't happen, honey. We ain't able to go backwards. Some people will say, well, I believe in evolution. So why do we stop evolving then? If you believe in evolution, maybe our bodies were already evolved enough. Maybe it is our minds that were supposed to continue to evolve. Our minds can't evolve if we're stuck in 6,000 years ago, right? How are you going to evolve if this is still your understanding of life, morality? It is stuck 6,000 years. Because we have to go all the way back. They go back in a cherry pick all the way back to Genesis. Correct? So we haven't evolved at all. Are you supposed to have the same intelligence as Adam or Eve? You're telling me then that even if you've been on this planet for 5,000-6,000 years, and you have learned and learned and learned. We know how to make a wheel now. You're telling me that y'all would be on the same level, you and Adam and Eve? Didn't Adam and Eve wipe their ass with leaves? Anyway, Lord, I done got on one. I try not to get on one, child. I try not to get on one. Miss Fabe, please stop quoting Paul like he's God. Paul is not a deity. He had to keep on telling the damn people, I am not God. I'm talking to you. I'm Paul, a servant of Jesus Christ. and this is what I feel, and I feel what you're doing is wrong. Some of you are saying that you're followers of Paul. Some of you are saying you are followers of Christ. Others, what I'm saying to you, there's one God, one Christ. And I believe what you're doing by dividing is wrong. Hell, I can go out there on the street right now in San Francisco, child, and find plenty of men who have changed their traded their desire from women for desire from men. Why? Because it's a coin in it. A lot of straight people out there selling their ass, right? It ain't that big a deal. Oh, look, I got another Cash App. Thank you. Hey, who is this? Thank you. All is well. You have to take the Bible seriously, not literally. Exactly. Yeah, take it seriously because it'll bring you to Christ. It'll bring you to faith. But after you get to faith, right? Like I said, I had that period when I was just in the Bible night and day. And then when I got out, I only listened to Christian music, gospel music, for 10 years, right? When I went to the church, they didn't have to sing a song, honey. As soon as I heard the first tambourine, I'd be on the wall, right? I was a baby Christian then. I had come to believe. It was a serious, and it wasn't about the book. It was never about the book. Even though I was reading the book and understanding what God has done in Christ, it really wasn't about the book. It was about the Spirit of God to take me from one place to another place in my mind where I could do something that I had never been able to do because I had gotten out of jail at least 30 times and gotten out of prison 10 times, and I'd always gone back to getting high. So why would I call on the name of Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit, and then all of a sudden I'm doing something that I never had the power to do? I never made it a day outside of the gate. But now all of a sudden I have no desire, nothing. There's nothing there for drugs. The only difference was my faith. I believed. I made a decision to believe. You say this happened, gospel, I believe it. I'm choosing to believe it. There are so many people now I talk to now. I volunteered for 17 years at the Castro Country Club. That's a hangout for people in recovery. There are so many people say, I just can't get with the God part. I just can't get with the. I said, brother, you are digging in trash cans and pushing the shopping cart, sleeping outside on the cement. Why are you so opposed to faith? I mean, damn, how much worse could it get? So the 12 steps, they are a path to faith. It's all about faith, honey. It's all about believing you're not alone. That's what it comes down to for me. And I hate sometimes because of what the religious people have done to gay people for so long, it makes it so hard to believe the way religious people believe, right? You made me your enemy for all of my life. You've caused so much damage. And then you want to say, oh, ain't no big deal. No, it is a big deal, right? This God that saved me when I was at Vacaville State Prison, he's the same God. It's the same Spirit. And so when I leave this planet, when I take my last breath, I'm holding on to the one who saved me. Save him, not one character in the Bible. I'm not picking up, can you bring me a Bible, please? Can you bring me a Bible? No. I'm holding on to the one who saved my ass and changed my life. Right? Anyway. She does that on purpose to get the replay views. Oh, Miss 5A, I think it's a bad idea. I've always thought it was a bad idea, you know. But people do what they want to do. I prefer to be able to go and begin whenever I come in, whenever it's available to me. I'm not just sitting at a computer for hours at a time, child, to watch something from beginning to end. But as far as I know, she's the only one who does that. Her and ZX, he got it from her. Most of the time, I just can't watch a video. I don't know what you even talked about, right? I'm not going to wait till the end of the thing and then go back and start my 2 hours. whatever. I ain't got no problem with Phi Beta right now. I'm glad the girls are getting together. Hopefully, we can turn this to where they're tag teaming Jay Wilson, right? Maybe eventually it'll get to him. He says nothing bothers him. It don't bother me. It don't bother me. Ain't no friends on you. Ain't no friends on you. All this whole shit, right? But I think if Phi Beta is coming at him and Kimmy is coming at him and Tracy, I really miss the situation with Tracy. If she is coming in and just telling him his truth, all you have to do with Jay Wilson is to fight him with his truth, because see, his truth is not getting in, right? He is a delusional person, correct? So if they all coming at him, and of course I'll always chip in because I love you so much. I always chip into the destruction of that character, of that beast, that monster that lives within him, right? Then we have some real entertainment around here, because that's what he deserves. Mm-hmm. In prison, they don't consider that being gay. Well, I think at least the one on the bottom strip. I can't make you understand, baby. I'm sorry. I can't. Yeah, you being gay when you're having gay sex, I would imagine. But yes, people have all kind of ways of thinking of that. They think of a lot of those guys, though, when they leave prison, they go back to girls, right? But if there's not a girl around, then men will be men. And this is a lot of what the Bible's talking about, right? They talk about a lot of booty taking going on in there, child. A lot of conquering nations and raping men and all that to humiliate them as an act of rape is an act of violence. They ain't talking about no damn gay in there. Gay, one man who's attracted to another man. They had no understanding. How would they have understanding? They didn't even have a book to read. Somebody had to come and read the scripture to them. And it was just a little small book, but then the Catholics went and added this and added this and added this until they made it a big volume book. But those people didn't know nothing. They didn't. How could they? Whatever. I've made a commitment, though. I'm going to get back into the word. I got to, because I don't want to turn into a person where I'm always criticizing the Bible. I don't mind criticizing religion. I feel that's my assignment, but I don't want to be the kind of person who is criticizing the very thing that saved my life. So we're going to get back in there. I find it easiest to start with the New Testament, but we'll go back. I'm not reading none of that Deuteronomy and all that stuff, child. Stone you to death for having sex? Mm-hmm. Who else? I just see I saw some familiar faces here. Hi, Michelle Holly. Michelle Holly's a spiritual woman. Most of us are spiritual people. Hi, Almond Brown. Mm-hmm. I've been enjoying you reading Love and Gospel Music again, Almond Brown. So thank you for having that on record, where I can go back and get it off your playlist. Yes, it is a guilty pleasure to read your own work years later. Under Levitical, okay, the woman's period is not a curse, but under Levitical law, it was considered unclean to lay with an unclean woman. You won't be laying with nobody except for that man who owns you. Remember, you are his property. His father sold you for a pig and a few chickens, right? And that's going to be your whole sex life. They determine that, particularly Americans. But we are not even religious. Considering what these other people do in the Middle East do for religion's sake, all that covering up, all that hot ass shit out in the middle of the desert, girl. Can you imagine with all that stuff on? But that's what they do, right? Those people are a whole lot more religious. I'm sure they consider the whole country of America heathens. They probably think of us as a little more than animals, honey. Showing your legs. A leg. Oh, no, honey. You can't even show a nose there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you have sex with an unclean woman, you're supposed to be stoned to death too, when I remember. And if they catch you having sex with somebody, they're supposed to stone you and stone him. You're both unclean. I don't believe in, this is Sandra Mitchell, I don't believe in generational curses. I believe in generational habits. Things you picked up. Things you picked up. Sometimes you'll see, sometimes I like to watch some of the little kids on the babies on the shorts, and they walk, and they walking already, they walk like the daddy. But this little child, shut up, motherfucker. Now, where would a baby get that? So you picked up things, right? And if all this is going on, I'll tell you the truth. My mother married a violent man. She didn't know he was violent, of course. They always wait. But I think I was 1 year old when she married him. Right. And their marriage went on back and forth for about 8 years. She divorced him when I was 8. So 7 years. And when I became a man, an adult, and I began to have my own relationships, I only had in my lifetime 2 serious relationships, what I would consider this person my partner, my lover, right? Where I lived together, shared the same household. Both times, after we got in a fight, a physical fight, I left. It broke, especially that second one was hard because I was really in love with this person. But the moment I put my hands on him, I walked away from the relationship, right? Packed called the U-Haul, put all my stuff, put it in storage, and walked away from the relationship. I was so afraid of becoming the monster that I was exposed to as a child, right? Because yes, sometimes it happens. Abused people become abusers many times, but it ain't always, because some people will go in the absolute opposite direction. If you hated the motherfucker, I don't think you want to emulate him, right? To this day, I wish that I would have worked harder at my second relationship, my only real relationship with my partner, because he used to say, maybe we can get some therapy or stuff like that. And I only lost my temper like that with him. I think twice. The second time it was over. And yeah, because after that, he became one kind of drug addict. I became another kind of drug addict. HIV came along and everything fell apart, right? So, but when we were in relationship, we were seriously in relationship. So I wish I would have worked harder at it. But I was so afraid of being involved in a relationship that was going to end up like that. Scarred and traumatized. Of course, Jay Wilson. Not in our house. Not in our house. My mom and dad, they taught us the value. Girl, totally delusional, child. You know, a whole lot of shit went on in that goddamn tin can. Whole lot of shit went on like everybody else family, girl. Everybody got issues but him, yet he's the poet's motherfucker of them all. Pitiful. Pitiful. I hope that boy Mark ain't got enough. He got enough sense not to be putting himself in a situation where he's living with that fool. That'd be the worst thing you could do. All you gotta do is walk around there hearing about this is my house. This is my house. This is my house. Girl, okay, we have established that, Jay Wilson. When I met your punk ass, I already had my own. Why I gotta come over here for you, become your slave, girl? Whatever. Unc, you just warned Kimmy about Jay Wilson last week. I remember you told her to watch him flip on her again. Absolutely. It ain't been but a week. 2 days later, somebody offer him $20 and see who he throws under the bus next. Cause ain't no friends on YouTube. Ain't no friends on YouTube. That means I can do anything I want to you. Jay Wilson, you have got no right to be disrespecting Rico's mother. You need to leave her out of your mouth, no matter how you feel. You need to leave that woman alone. How many videos you made already about that boy's mother? Disgusting. No respect at all. It would never even occur to me to be on here talking about somebody's mother after the woman's here. Then you want to try to judge their family. You don't know a goddamn thing about their family. You don't know where she came from. You don't know where his father came from. You don't know about their relationship. You don't know if he had to leave. You don't know anything about people. These are real people, Jay Wilson, not characters on a goddamn TV show you saw, girl. What should you do? You should shut the hell up about somebody's mom. Girl, I think I would get on a plane. If a nigga ever disrespected my mother right in her face, I think I would get on a plane. I'm serious about that. I ain't say nothing about Rico Mama. I love Rico Mama. Keep my mother's name out of your mouth. But you came on YouTube. Did I come to your channel? If you see I'm on there with my mother, why are you dragging your stinking black ass on there, girl? You say you don't go to nobody else's channel, right? Because you won't get a coin from it. Jay Wilson and Mark Sugar Daddy, I don't know. I hope Mark got no sense to get some sugar out of that thing. I don't know, honey. If he do, he be getting y'all's money. Hey, Stevie J. Mm-mm. Do you have a boyfriend in prison? No. Mm-mm. They didn't want me, Stevie J. They wanted feminine boys, honey. I was still trying to be hard because I was hard on the street. Or at least I made them believe I was hard on the street. But no. They were really into queens and stuff in there. Now I could have. These guys weren't my type. Prison types, big muscles, intimidating people. They don't turn me on at all. Right. But I was very popular in prison. No boyfriend. The one time I tried it, he talked me into having my mama send a package for us, right? And then when the package came, well, you know, canned goods and stuff like that. And I know I'm a person who's never asked my mother for anything in my entire life since I left her house. Never asked her anything, but right, he convinced me that, oh, you should she'll send you a package and all that. When the package came, the African-American gentleman told me, because she said that the package was too heavy to send to prison. My mother was not used to sending people anything into a prison, right? So she packed all this stuff in there. And she said, oh, I couldn't get it all in the box. I couldn't get it all in the box. That motherfucker tried to get me to tell my mother to make another box and send it in his name. I said, oh, no, baby. This ain't going to work. Girl. It's something about being played. It just don't sit right. That was my only one. He was the cute black guy. But no. And then y'all know I've been attracted to white guys a lot. There's none of that going on in San Quentin or most prisons in California. You have to be with your own race because you and your boyfriend, if for some reason, everybody in there wants to know who's with who's zooming who. You get in a fight with your boyfriend, it can set the whole yard off because it's so racial conscious there, right? A lot of people don't realize that racism is still the dominant force in prison. They don't make black and white people cellies. We don't mix. They have one side of the yard, I have another side of the yard kind of thing. So that whole situation there didn't turn me on at all. But the little guy, he was a nice guy, but he was just hungry and thirsty. And he wasn't going to be playing my mama out of pork and beans and weenies, honey. So I still haven't received a Cash App gift yet. From who? Let me see. Did you send me a Cash App? Let me see. I don't get a lot. You guys don't give me a lot of Cash Apps, honey. I sure appreciate it. Let's see. This Cash App thing is just taking over. And I don't know how they make money because usually they only charge you like 5 cents, 10 cents. Oh! Whoa! 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 Glory! Glory! Yes, I did get it. Thank you. Who sent me that? Thank you. That's nice. Let me see. Okay. Thank you, Cassetta. I appreciate you. Ooh, look at the ex-wife. Bless you, the ex-wife. Thank you. Oh, I've been so neglectful. Thank you, Ronald Torrey. Oh, that's nice. Y'all don't make me want to dance and cry. I appreciate you. Y'all have been very good to me. Very sweet. Let me see. But I ain't gonna drop nobody off now. That's the way it should come. Just give him your heart, honey. Do what you want to do with your money. It's your thing. Do what you want to do. Don't let me tell you. Don't go back trying to ask for more, Jay Wilson. Idiot. So I guess Uncle Tim is not into rough trade. No, I don't like rough trade. Some people live by it. They don't want their boyfriend. In prison, you will very rarely see two gay boys who are obviously gay. Thank you, Leslie Cornish. Appreciate you. Thanks for the super chat. You will rarely see two gay boys together, right? Because there's such a longing, such a hunger in there for people who are doing a considerable amount of time, right? That the gay boys realize, well, hell, I can give me a man. So they like the rough trade. They don't turn me on at all, honey. I don't want nobody with their pants around their ass. I'm not knocking it. A lot of people like that, but not me. So if I was attracted, then I probably would have had boyfriends in San Quentin. Or I went to 5 of them, 5 in prison. Not a turn on to me. All that old rough street hard. That girl makes some girls just wet. They just love that shit. A lot of gay people, they say they don't have sex with gay people. Why would I do that, girl? All this prayed around here, child. Yeah, he robbed me. Yes. Yeah, he stole my laptop. Yeah. But he's so sexy. Everybody got a type, honey. Everybody likes something. All is well. Hallelujah. Thank you, guys. Girl should be reporting, oh, he got a cash app. He got a cash app. He big. No, girl, you big. And everyone is aware of what a disgusting pig you are, Jay Wilson. And now you're going to lose your 2 best supporters, right? The last thing you want is for Tracy to get back in that asshole. That's how I got to know Tracy. Some people wonder why. Well, why do you like Tracy? I don't like Tracy and all that stuff, right? I said, no. Tracy, we were both giving him what they call tag team, right? And it was wonderful, right? She was helping me to expose him. So it would be wonderful if she would come back getting in that ass because she knows enough about him. Now, she was talking today about this begging thing, how that is a turn off to her. You can't make that fool understand nothing, right? Because he is so desperate for money. So desperate for money. It is such a turn off as a human being to be begging all the time. But you can't make him understand that, Jay Wilson. People don't even want to be bothered with you, child. All you can do is listen to you beg and beg and beg and beg, and then tell them how you're not begging. I'm not begging. I'm not begging. I'm not begging. Y'all want to give? You can give. Ain't nobody. You ain't got to beg. You ain't got to give. You ain't. Girl, don't nobody need your permission, bitch. Tell me I don't got to give you my money. Are you crazy? They just do it because they want to. I give the entertainment. You give the entertainment. So what about the other tens of thousands of people on YouTube, Jay Wilson? Are they not doing the exact same thing, but yet they don't find it necessary to beg people for money at every opportunity? You said last week that they got mad at you for getting all of your Thanksgiving fixings and things, begging for them. You said, we're really going to make them mad for Christmas. We're really going to be, and then you immediately started your campaign to get more money out of people, right? And this is when we started back with these Cash App Palooza, where you yourself said, the house always wins. Everybody know that. The house always wins. So it is your intention to come up with scheme after scheme after scheme, trying to get your bills paid. Jay Wilson. He don't see it as a bad thing. That's why I say he's traitor trash. If you weren't trash, Jay Wilson, you would see it as a bad thing. Anyway, people, I got to take my baby out. He's supposed to go out at 4:30. It is now, what is it? Shut up, boy. Woo, I'm over an hour late. He been here by himself all day, and that the least I could do is take him out to do his business. Thank you guys for Cash App and Super Chats. I appreciate you. Sincerely, I do. And we'll talk in the week. Later.